There's been hurdles. There's been hurt. It's funny that hurt is part of the word hurdles. The CD was about ready to be finished in June, and then Stiletto decided it would be a good idea to have the CD mixed by a professional mixer. At first I was like, oh, this is awesome. I get to work with a professional mixer, and I was so excited. And then I start working with Mr. Tony Shepard, who is he's a pretty big name. He's worked with some pretty impressive people.
Did you hear how the vocal character changed between the two?
Changed, yeah. What was that?
There's an EQ difference between the two.
Why?
And I don't know. You have to ask your producer about that one.
But I was offended that, not necessarily by Jason and DeMarco, but I was offended by how they wanted a mixer at first.
Compression to me is something that has to be used sparingly.
Right.
And you guys use it like it's like the first tool out of the box.
There was a lot of scrutiny being put on the stuff that I had done, and I thought, well, shoot, I'm not cut out for this. And so I just had to kind of get over that and be confident about him hearing this.
Well, you should listen to me and just don't assume that I'm always wrong.
That's what I said!
You'll grow out of it.
Isn't this so fun? I'm just having a blast! Stop it. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Are you not happy?
I'm happy. You're just putting your sneakers in my nuts.
Let me get a nut in your mouth. That was funny.
Not many producers are in the learning stage when they start a project of this magnitude, but I really have learned so much from when we started this project to when we finished it. My personal journey has been so affected by the creation of this CD. It hasn't even been a year since we met, and so it's just blows my mind that they put as much trust in me as they did, and I'm so thankful that they did. And so we feel very attached and connected with this CD, and like it is our kid. If 3 gay men can have a kid.
There's many people that have come across our path that are part of this soul family, as we like to call it, that have been given the same vision.
The church has been my scene for most of my life. Well, first, is it okay to talk about gay things? They found me, I believe, at a point where I needed them, and I don't mean that in a pathetic, desperate way. I was at a point where I wasn't sure what I was going to do.
When Alan first came out, we were very blown away. We said all the old, we're not going to support you in this choice thing, and at that time we had problems reconciling him singing about faith and being gay.
The first couple months after I came out, she was a typical Christian parent. It was wrong. We don't want you here. We don't want that in our house. Blah 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 blah.
It's because we were ready to kick him out. We were like, you're going to have to do this on your own.
I have to collect. Hang on.
At the time, I was working at my church, and the pastor there, Pat Sparks, was a very good friend of mine. And even though he believes homosexuality is a choice, he also is very big on family and really loved Alan and loved our family. And he kept telling me, don't do something that's going to cause you to lose him forever. Working through it was very, very hard. And I know Teddy and I both said some really hurtful things to him out of our ignorance. And before we really came to the point before God really came to the point where he broke through that brick we called a heart and started really turning it towards the gay community.
When their article in The Advocate came out,
and we went to their website, and I ordered 2 CDs, one for me and one for Alan. So a few days later, I get that one and a Christmas one, a free one, with a handwritten note from Jason. So I called Alan and I said, I just got a handwritten note from Jason. It says, love Jason. And he says, well, I just got an email from Jason. He wants me to call him. And I was like, what?
My boyfriend, Corey was in Abilene, Texas when Jason and DeMarco were performing at a small MCC in Abilene, and as he was leaving, he felt the urge to give them the last CD that I had produced, and said, you know, this is my boyfriend, he's a Christian singer also, and I just thought you should hear him. And
so they popped it in and listened to it and fell in love with them. When I had gotten my CDs, I sent a thank you email, and then just started pouring out all this. My son is gay, you know, we just found out, blah, blah, blah. Just for some reason, I just poured out this story to him. And when Alan called Jason, Jason said, let me call you back. I'm emailing your mother. So he sent me this, you know, 2-page email of just like his story and positive things, and a little bit about how they had gotten the CD and what they thought. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And I had this epiphany, and I will never forget it, where I looked at him and I realized he's the same person. He is exactly the same person he was before, the day before he told me. And, you know, 2 months into this or whatever, he's the same person. And I had been just creating this monster in my head that never really existed.
To watch his parents' transformation over the last year, year and a half, it's just been unbelievable, because now they're probably the biggest advocates out there.
My mother, both of my parents, but mainly my mother, has a divine calling to be a fag hag. It's as simple as that.
How are you?
Hi, Mama Lisa.
Shake my hand.
God does not hold homosexuality against people. Someone said the other night, it's a gift. And just like your brown eyes and your brown hair and, you know, the color of your skin, you can't change it. It's who you are. And why would God make people that way and then say, but I don't love you?
A lot of gay men, a lot of Christian gay men especially, struggle with coming out and accepting themselves, is because Christianity says that it's wrong, flat out. You know, there's nothing else to it. But it's a funny thing. Religion is a funny thing, because, you know, it's so different from person to person.
And there's just nothing that can convince me that you can't be a Christian just because you're gay.
Through my coming out and through the struggles that happened shortly thereafter, we've grown so much closer.
It must break God's heart, the things we do in the name of religion.
Well, HR